And hi guys, without further ado I'll cut to the case since I have 14 and a half minutes to do this, since others it will be too long for YouTube. I was browsing through YouTube and I came along some Pokemon videos, Pokemon related. I'll leave the channel to that in the description. And I came to some facts of the day of that channel. That included banned scenes or banned episodes from Pokemon, some things of the manga that had been altered or that should have been altered, or anything like that. Besides that, something completely Pokemon unrelated, a mistletoe prank that I loved. I seriously laughed louder than I should have, and the top 10 most commercial video that I found, which I want to share a couple of with. First of all, banned Pokemon episodes. Well, some episodes have been banned revolving Jinx, since since people started talking about that it was created after blackface, or whatever that dude is called. That was some kind of bullshit thing to degrade Afro-American people. So they made that purple. I don't get it. I mean, why can't a Pokemon be black with white lips? It doesn't have to mean anything.
Number 4 is the Jinx episodes. This one doesn't really need the episodes to be explained, but the controversy is this. After an article was written disagreeing with the way Jinx is portrayed, many equal rights activists pushed Pokemon to drop the episode Holiday Hijinks from the air. The episode, which is bizarre in itself, involves a plot where Team Rocket attempts to, get this, kidnap Santa Claus to steal their presents. By episode standards, this already makes it weird, but many people became upset with Santa's helpers in the Pokemon world, the ice Pokemon Jinx. Some people felt that with Jinx' pure black skin and large lips, that Jinx resembles too closely the act of blackface, an insensitive act that was often used to portray and humiliate African Americans. In theory, Jinx's appearance is supposed to be based on a popular Japanese fashion style. While I find it hard to believe that Jinx was created based on blackface, it is a very human-like Pokemon, and the sensitivity is understood. Holiday Hijinks was taken off the air, and a future episode, titled The Ice Cave, was removed from the air in the United States. Jinx has since then been officially recolored to purple. No real harm done, but it did leave us with some of the original Jinx episodes off the air for a while.
Besides that, some other stuff that was awkward that I'm not gonna put in here due to lack of time probably, is how in one episode, Beauty and the Beach, it's fucked up. I haven't seen the entire episode, I've just seen parts of it. But yeah, it's fucked up. They end up wrecking a boat on a beach. They have to work for someone to pay for that boat, but they fuck that up and have to pay more. They make Misty enter some kind of bikini shizzle, I don't know. And then Ash's mom ends up winning it. Like, well, what? Well, what? Lol? It's not Pokemon-like to do that, and it's fucked up if you ask me. It's confusing, and I didn't get shit out of it. Something else that really I didn't even know. In Japan there had been troubles, and that meant it. I think it wasn't aired in America for that, and in other countries. But in one episode, which I really want to see, due to the storyline.
And finally, we've got Electric Soldier Porygon. Not only is it the first episode that was aired in Japan and then later taken down, but it also sent 600 children to the hospital. What? I'm pretty sure plenty of you have already heard this story, but for those of you who haven't, this is a great bit of Pokemon history. The date is December 16th, 1997, before the Pokemon games or anime even existed in North America yet. The episode, Electric Soldier Porygon. The episode itself is kind of interesting. Ash and his friends visit a Pokemon Center to do their usual healing roundup, but it turns out the Pokemon's transport system is broken and the Pokemon are getting lost in cyberspace. The eccentric, swirly-eyed computer programmer of a human transfer system starts freaking out, and it turns out that one of his Porygon, the computer Pokemon, has been stolen by Team Rocket, who are using Porygon to steal the Pokemon in mid-transit in cyberspace. He forces Ash and friends to take their own Porygon into the action to stop Team Rocket, and chaos ensues on the net. While the two teams fight, the Pokemon Center eventually decides to upload their own antivirus program, screwing everything up by thinking that both Ash and the company and Team Rocket are all viruses, and it becomes a race to escape before the antivirus guns them down. Here's where problems start falling into place, and there's no better argument for why this episode was a problem than what the own characters in the show say. It's too bright is right. This episode is full of careless strobe effect animations that would eventually prove to be too much for young children all over Japan. Personally, watching this episode, there are tons of moments that actually do irritate my eyes, and while I didn't go into a seizure like they did, I'm going to do everything in my power to edit these upcoming scenes so that I don't somehow recreate the original problem. While I think that there are some light-sensitive issues throughout the episode, the big one that everyone points to is near the end of the conflict. The antivirus fires missiles at our crew, which prompts Pikachu to intercept them with a thunderbolt. The following explosion is a splash of red and blue so disturbing to the eye that I can't believe animators let it pass. Blue and red light simultaneously flash and alternate hundreds of times, taking close to the entire frame for around 5 seconds. I'm playing this clip in such a slow speed that the light effect couldn't possibly irritate your eyes that it originally did. But can you imagine how glaring this would be for a child? The light-intensive effect ended up bringing more than 600 Japanese children to hospitals due to epileptic seizure symptoms, and the whole incident brought serious repercussions. The first was that Pokemon was taken off the air for over 4 months, while Pokemon's animation techniques were thoroughly repaired. This caused a New Year's episode that was planned for release in the next week to be postponed, and eventually cancelled due to it no longer being anywhere close to New Year's anymore. When Pokemon finally did get back on the air, Japan's government banned the episode, never to be aired again. In addition, Porygon and all its evolutions have been seemingly cut from nearly all episodes of Pokemon afterwards, even though it was Pikachu's Thunderbolt that caused the mess in the first place. By the time Pokemon was finally released in the United States, many news-conscious adults remembered the seizure story and were skeptical of the show's treatment of light-sensitive explosion effects. There were many edits made to the episodes at this point and everything was fine, but the talk of forbidden episodes began circulating as fandom for the show exploded as a media phenomenon. Maddie Blostein, the voice of Meowth, claimed that an English dub and animation repair of the episode have been created, but Japan's government banning the episode prevented any other country from ever airing it again. It's a shame that the edited footage and dub will likely be lost forever somewhere with Warner Bros. Or 4Kids. Because of the mystery surrounding it, the damage it caused, and the secrecy of the footage, this episode marks my #1 banned Pokemon episode.
The Pokemon manga, something a lot of people don't even know of existence. I did know there were some manga-ish things, but I didn't really know there were complete mangas of it, and that there were more than just 1 or 2. There was one thing that, shocked me.
Being different, this world is dark. Pokemon die throughout the manga, and just look at this scene where... Ugh! Oh god! Did that Arbok just get sliced in two? Sick! And look at these nasty zombie Pokemon. But, unlike most American media, the violence wasn't cut whatsoever. There were, however, a few smaller incidents that were altered when moving to North America. It's interesting to note that these scenes were not altered in the original Viz print, which read from left to right, but rather the 2009 release, which ran from right to left. The original print, while containing a few minor changes, is relatively similar to the original. The first is a continuation of change that I talked about in my banned episodes video. Jinx, who received some flack by resembling blackface or stereotypical African American features, is now recolored to represent its new purple skin rather than black. The second is actually pretty hilarious. Can you cut an Arbok in half? Sure. But can a parent slap their child? No way, apparently. In this scene, instead of delivering a slap to Kryze's face, her mother instead delivers a mean look. Pokemon can kill each other just fine, but God forbid someone gets slapped. The third removes a funny scene where Green hides 2 Pokeballs in her top in a battle with Sabrina. She mocks Sabrina's looks, prompting her to attack Green with her Kadabra. Her clothes rip and, surprise! Those weren't her Jigglypuffs in there. It was an actual Jigglypuff. Van Clefairy. The 2009 edit cuts out the surprise attack altogether, making things pretty confusing when her bust magically shrinks from panel to panel. These few bits of censorship range from negligible to silly, but I still highly recommend you check the series out. The second manga, and by far the more problematic of the two, is The Electric Tale of Pikachu. Like Pokemon Adventures, this set ran beginning in 1997. The difference, however, is that this one ran as an adaptation of the anime rather than the games. As such, you have Ash, Misty, and Brock as main characters battling through the Pokemon League, Team Rocket, and the Orange Islands. The manga generally follows the plot of the anime, picking out a few select episodes from the animated series, including the adventures of Clefairy and the Great Pokemon Race. The story still has a handful of deviations, though, such as Ash discovering Pikachu under the floorboards of his house, or capturing a Fearow early in the series. Because of its relative brevity, some of it goes pretty fast. Ash defeats Brock in just a single panel, and toward the end of the series he suddenly has 8 badges out of nowhere. But despite its lack of original depth, there's some awesome moments. The artwork is great, and some of the adaptations of the original plot points are even better than their originals. Speaking of adaptations, however, there's one pretty big adaptation from the anime in this work, and it's pretty much every female character across it. Toshihiro Ono, while a great artist, falls into the usual manga artist trappings of drawing his women with an over-the-top bust size. Everyone in this series is sexualized in some form or another. Just look at the difference between the originals and the censored English volumes. If there's a woman in the show, they have a chest. We're talking everyone. Here's Jessie, with breasts bigger than her head, of course. And look at this school teacher's uniform. Makes perfect sense to me. Here we see Officer Jenny forgot to bring her pants to work. And Misty, yes, even 12-year-old Misty isn't safe. As a water-type trainer, it makes sense that Misty's design across the games and anime is consistent with, oh, I don't know, a professional swimmer? But in the Japanese version, they throw that out the window for, ew, oh god. That doesn't even make sense. In addition to just about every frame, including a woman being altered, one scene was so bad it had to be cut from the English manga altogether. In this scene, Misty is bathing, just barely concealed by bubble froth, making a comment about how she wishes her breasts could evolve. Evolve from what? You are 12 years old! She then realizes to her horror that Ash, Brock, and Eevee Kid are sitting in the same path right behind her. She runs off naked in an awkward moment. This is borderline pedophilia. Not even. This just is straight pedophilia. The Electric Tale of Pikachu is another story that I recommend, but it's pretty difficult to get a hold of in its entirety because it's out of print. It's weird though. If you check on Amazon, you can get the first 3 out of 4 volumes relatively cheap, especially if you get them used. The 4th and final volume, though, over $50 used and $250 new. What? That's preposterous! Why? After some digging around, here's all I can figure out. In the epilogue of the 4th volume, James professes his love to Jessie, and in one of the last panels you can see them together with a clearly pregnant Jessie. Now, in the context of the story, which only lightly mentions the Rockets throughout, it's actually pretty out of place. But Rocket shippers, fans who support a possible relationship between Jessie and James, probably bought the volume up in spades. It's a shame, too, because The Electric Tale of Pikachu, especially the censored version, is a great read.
The other thing, the Mr. Pranking shit. And I watched it and I laughed harder than I should have. I think I'll put the link in the description as well. The worst commercials. I'll put the link in the description because I don't know if I'll have any time left added in it. Also, I'll put the original videos that I used with the information and the images in the description as well. Stay cool and see you guys later.